President Trump is expected to issue, this is from the Wall Street Journal, is expected to issue an executive order Thursday directing federal agencies to tie research and education grants made to colleges and universities to more aggressive enforcement of the First Amendment. This is according to a draft of the order viewed by the Wall Street Journal. The order instructs agencies, including the Departments of Education, Health and Human Services, and Defense, to ensure that public educational institutions comply with the First Amendment and that private institutions live up to their own stated free speech standards. The order falls short of what some university officials feared would be more sweeping or specific measures. It doesn't prescribe any specific penalty that would result in schools losing research or other education grants as a result of specific policies. You know, this is so necessary. It's a tragedy that this is necessary. It is a tragedy that we have. I've said this before. It is really true. The battle we are in is not the battle between left and right. I am perfectly happy to see, Nancy Pelosi and Jim Jordan debate. I'm perfectly happy to see them both appear on campus and debate their ideas. Any left-winger, any right-winger, I'm perfectly happy to see them debate. We are in a battle between the left and free speech. We're in a battle between the left and liberalism. Liberalism, which should contain both conservative and left-wing ideas. There's no problem with that to me. I'm willing to debate anybody and talk to anybody and listen to anybody. But you cannot, I think it was Bill Murray who said, it's hard to win a debate against a smart person, but it's impossible to win it against a stupid person. That's the kind of thing we are up against. Listen to this. Here is a piece in CNN reacting to Trump's proposal when Trump first proposed this executive order. Terry Canfield, a lawyer trained at UC Berkeley, wrote this on the CNN website. For years, those on the right and far right have complained that universities shun their ideas. In 2017, when white supremacist Richard Spencer was disinvited to speak at Auburn University after the campus police cited safety concerns, he sued the university for violating his free speech rights, won his suit, and was ultimately permitted to speak later that year. And last year, protests at Berkeley erupted ahead of a planned appearance of right-wing commentator Milo Yiannopoulos. Students and other members of the community didn't want him there because of his alleged neo-Nazi and white supremacist views. He denies he's a white supremacist. In response to the backlash, Yiannopoulos accused the protesters of being opposed to free speech. Those are her examples. I went through the whole piece. Those are her only examples, okay? She doesn't cite the fact that there are riots when Ben Shapiro has shown up at places. She doesn't cite the fact that I have been barred from, look at this face. How could you bar this face from your university? She doesn't cite the fact that people like Charles, I can't remember his name. The guy who wrote Coming Apart. That he has been attacked. Heather McDonald has been forced into a room with the police surrounding her as people hammered on the doors and terrorized her. She doesn't talk about any of that stuff. What she does is typical of the left, the sequestered left. They think the right wing is people that most people on the right wing completely reject. Richard Spencer is not a person that people, on the right approve of. He's an alt-right guy. I think he should be allowed to speak. I think people should debate him. I think people should make fun of him. I think people should, point out what's wrong with his ideas. But that's not the problem. They do this all the time. They talk about, and the news media does it, they talk about the right as if it were centered around its extreme people, and they don't talk about the fact that the leftist extremists are running for president. The leftist extremists are in Congress. Our extremists are on the comment section of Breitbart. Their extremists are in the government. And I think that is a huge, huge difference. And you could only make that argument to people who never get outside and hear opposing views. If Jordan Peterson keeps you up at night, you just are not getting out enough. Come on. This is what's going wrong. It is, again, here is Donald Trump, the great villain, the great man who's not fit for office, who somehow just managed to stumble into destroying the caliphate, who somehow just managed to spark the economy that Obama sat on for 8 years. Somehow in his stupidity, I don't know, he somehow managed to put constitutional justices on the Supreme Court and conservative judges throughout the judiciary. I don't know how he did any of that because he's so stupid and so insane. But he's the guy who is defending the constitutional protection to free speech. Donald Trump is doing that, not Brian Stelter, not CNN, not the New York Times. Donald Trump is doing it. If we lose him, after him, the deluge, and so he's got to take care of what he does, and we have got to take care of what we do and make sure that doesn't happen, because it's a dangerous moment. It's a dangerous moment. The left has lost its mind.